Hey everyone, welcome back to Immediate Movie Reactions. I'm here after seeing the movie If, and after a very brief hiatus, because there hasn't really been anything out that I felt like I needed to go see. So here I am. I don't know that I was super excited to see this movie. This is a John Krasinski written and directed, I think he wrote it, directed movie at least. And it stars him and Kaylee Fleming and Ryan Reynolds. And I'm going to get some things out of the way first. The negatives, which is I hate John Krasinski. I'm sorry. I know it's really weird to say that you hate someone that you've never met and never will meet. And so, you know, that always feels weird to me. However, I think Jim Halpert is one of the biggest jerks and bullies on TV. And Krasinski gets too much credit for playing the nice guy. Do you remember Some Good News, which he did during COVID to bring a little light into the world and then unceremoniously sold it for a capital infusion? Yeah, so anyway, not a fan of that guy. Ryan Reynolds, I don't know. When did we forget that he makes shitty movies? Like, he really does not have a good history other than a couple Deadpool movies, which maybe turned everybody. You know, he's funny, right? But he also made movies like Free Guy. He's good looking, fine, but R.I.P.D., Green Lantern, right? Some real crap out there. And the dude has the range of a windshield wiper. Like, he basically plays Ryan Reynolds in every movie. You know, Krasinski at least has a little bit more going than that, though he's only briefly in this movie and feels like a very much an older version of Jim Halpert. Kaylee Fleming is the one who really carries this movie, and so I'm going to move, you know, maybe a little bit into some of the positives, but here's the issue. This movie is about invisible friends that have been forgotten, and Ryan Reynolds and Kaylee Fleming, who plays a young girl named B. Well, get it? Believe, haha. There's nothing super subtle about this movie, but it's okay. There's actually some parts I think that are very cleverly and well done, and I will get to that. So anyway, her mother has died, and you know, these are themes and stories and ideas that we've seen done better in other movies. Wonder Park, if you have not seen it, is God, maybe 10 years ago. Wonder Park, really fantastic film. Almost exactly this movie. God, almost exactly. Inside Out, Monsters, Inc., even going back to Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, Imaginary Friends, where, you know, the kids have grown up and now the imaginary friends need something to do with their life. There's even a monster in this, an imaginary friend, right? Monsters, because it's basically Monsters, Inc., an imaginary friend called Blue. Come on. Even Drop Dead Fred, which I don't think is a good movie, it had basically the same ideas as a lot of this, that you grow up and you still need your imaginary friend and blah, 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 blah. So I guess that's the negatives, is it doesn't really do anything new or creative. Ryan Reynolds just kind of is Ryan Reynolds, but Kaylee Fleming does hold this movie together. I think she's fantastic, and Steve Carell is amazing. He's really funny. He does play Blue. Louis Gossett Jr. is in this, who plays a bear named Louis. Probably could have done better with that, but I'm really glad to, you know, not see him, but at least, you know, hear him. Iron Eagle and Enemy Mine, those are formative movies of my childhood, and I love seeing him in a role that I ended up actually quite enjoying. I think about halfway through this movie, so it gets really melodramatic at the beginning, and you kind of know everything that's going to happen. But about halfway through the movie, when B realizes that she's all Neo from the Matrix and is the one and can save the imaginary friend to If, and once she starts doing that and the movie becomes artistic, it becomes creative, it becomes really kind of cool to see. I love the mix of what looks like actual people in costumes like you would see at Disney or a Masked Singer or whatever, really elaborate, mixed with the CGI. It doesn't seem to really be out of place. I think that's absolutely fantastic. Like I said, Kaylee Fleming does a good job of portraying this girl who is basically, is it Riley from Inside Out, right? Who is kind of finding her way into being a young woman and leaving the childhood behind and all that sort of thing. But still trying to maintain who she was or figure out who she was. And that's what it is. It's a journey of self-discovery. One of the best parts is seeing the imaginary friends, seeing the ifs, trying to figure out the voices. It's really cool to see Brad Pitt reprising his role as Vanisher in this. I would recommend sticking through the credits just to kind of see who is there. I was bad. I will admit I was horrible. My wife and I were the only ones in the theater, so there were a couple times when I did look up a couple of the voices. But it's really fun to figure that out if that's the sort of thing that you're into. And like I said, about halfway through the movie, I think it does turn. It becomes creative. It comes a little bit better. I would say, I'm kind of cold-hearted and cynical, but there were a couple times when my heart, which is, 2 sizes too small, beat a little bit. And my wife, I would say, at about the maybe halfway two-third mark, it was tears, right? There are some really emotional moments. And so I think by the end, even though I wanted to dislike this movie, I really, really wanted to dislike this movie, but I'm thinking back to a couple scenes, like when Kaylee is playing out her imagination and creating the world for the ifs, and there's really cool things like Ryan Reynolds being caught in a painting and then coming out covered in paint, and he knocks over and water goes flying out over from paintings that are of boats and stuff like that. Like, those are really cool moments, and seeing in the background, seeing the kind of the seeds, the ideas of the ifs. There's some that are knights, and you can see in a closet, you might see a knight helmet, and where that idea has come from. It almost goes kind of Sixth Sense here with turning the story around and flipping it away. And I think bottom line is, I don't know that this is a movie that is designed for adults. It's not necessarily designed for me, even though I am going to say I enjoyed it. I think that range of like 9 to 14 is probably perfect for it. And I think, it has enough going for it. I don't know why, but there's a movie called Mr. Megorium's Wonder Emporium with Dustin Hoffman, and the whole time I'm watching, all I could think of was that movie, a movie that deserved more recognition than it got. And maybe that's where If is, because I have heard some really bad things. And I'm not going to say that this is a great movie. This is a movie, like I said, it is formulaic and it is cliche as they come. However, figure out the audience, figure out who's going to be watching it and who's going to enjoy it. And I think it does pull it off in the end. So I enjoyed it. See it, stream it, or skip it. I think definitely stream this movie. I think that this is a great one when you sit down with your family, on a Friday night, make popcorn and, all that sort of thing, get the snacks out and just enjoy this movie. There is some funny moments, even though I would say if this is a kid's movie, Ryan Reynolds this is very minor, needs to cut out the hell and damn it, kid, and stuff like that. I don't know that was necessary in the film, but it isn't egregious and it isn't incredibly vulgar. Overall, it's just a fun movie. So yeah, please stream it. If you have seen it, please let me know what you think. And I appreciate everyone. Did you have an imaginary friend? Please let me know below. It's kind of a strange thing to talk about, is it? Anyway, I appreciate you all. Please like, share, subscribe, do all that sort of thing. And I will see you after the next movie.